Hayden Deegan has a new look as he enters the next chapter of his professional career. Welcome back to Vinyl MX. I'm your host, Michael Lindsay. And yes, one of the last worst kept secrets of this year, and I say worst kept secrets just because it's hard to keep these large signings, this stuff under wraps, is finally official. Hayden Deegan joins Fox Racing. Before we get into some of the details, what we know about contracts, maybe clarifying some things on what Hayden's allowed to do or not allowed to do with gear in his new contract, let's get to the simple part that Fox Racing is a bit returning to the roots. They've got a little bit more of a disruptive playbook with this. For quite a few years now, they've had the clean cut racers. They've had that for about the last 2 decades, very, very heavily from the James and Ricky era on. And they've ended up in a bit of a war against Alpine Star, who is in the last decade has emerged as a head-to-toe competitor for them and has taken their financial might to go after, the Lawrences and Chase Sexton and do a lot of really cool things with those athletes, but also lock down a lot of the high end of the market, also very clean-cut style racers. Of course, Fox Racing is still really known for their disruptive style from like the 80s and the 90s, going back to the stuff they did with the bad boy Rick Johnson, what they did with the Beast from the East, what they've done with the Terra Firma video series into the early McGrath era, some of that stuff. Like Fox is really big on counterculture, on having a disruptive look, a feel, content, etc. So regardless of your feelings on Hayden Deegan, a fan or not of him, I think this is an absolutely great move, not only for Fox, but very interesting for the sport as a whole to have that competitiveness between the two top gear brands in our sport and the way they're going to market their athletes. So again, Alpine Star's got the really clean cut guys over here. Fox is going into that disruptive look again with Hayden, whether it's from the gear to the content to the lifestyle materials they're going to do with him, etc. That is all just really good for the sport. It gets it allows people to pick sides, it allows people to pick brands and have some feeling of being a part of that brand and what it represents to them. That is good for the sport, period. Now, they actually, yes, Hayden is head-to-toe athlete, boots, gear, goggles, helmets, whole 9 yards. The launch materials are out. Some really cool stuff. We were able to get some pre-release on, so we just have some photos, but there are some videos getting released right at the same time. This video, they're actual launch materials. The kit that he's launching with, this is the new Danger 180 collection, which is now available for sale on a limited run. They also have some lifestyle like hoodies, hats, etc. And this is not just, of course, like it's to celebrate that signing, but this is not just maybe a one-off or once-a-year thing. Like, again, this is a big reason why Hayden also picked to go with Fox, is they wanted to do this kind of stuff with him. They want to do Danger collection drops, and they want to do stuff beyond just the gear. They want to do more lifestyle clothing, more merchandise with him. And again, part of really buying into his brand and him vice versa. Because now going forward, Hayden is basically going to be Fox Racing's marquee athlete. On the top end of the scale, yes, they have Ken Roxon, they have Jorge Prado, and they've had Ken for a long time. They have some great guys in GPs with the relationship with the HRC team and the Ston. They're going to be getting Jeffrey Hurlings here really soon, Tom Vial. They still have Kaida Wolf. But definitely from a marketing standpoint, a brand leader, they're looking at putting Hayden in that place, and they're going to push pretty hard to make that happen. I think that's a huge reason also why Hayden went with them. Hayden had opportunities with any of the most major brands. He had opportunities with Alpine Stars. He had opportunities to stay at Thor. He had this opportunity with Fox. And there is a great financial figure with it. It's a great long-term commitment, but there's a lot into what they want to invest in him. And again, I think that's really cool for Nolan Hayden, but Fox Racing to kind of take that step where some might argue the last couple of years they've missed out on missed some of these big signings and moving with that next generation. Now, some might still look at this and immediately go, that's it, end of question. Hayden Deegan is a 450 racer. Yes, he is racing Argentina this weekend for his 450 Supercross debut. He will race Australia. There's a good chance he starts the AMA Supercross season on a 450. There's a good chance. I still think at some point, unless, if all the cards line, everything's going great maybe this day, if they drop down, I shouldn't say if he drops down, but if he goes back and races a 250 on either coast in Supercross, yes, he will be free to wear Fox head to toe as he has signed this deal, because he is no longer a Star Racing contract athlete. He is now contracted to Factory Yamaha because the 450 team is still Factory Yamaha's. It is just managed by Star Racing. He is pitting out of the truck. He is being paid directly by Yamaha. He's on contract with that team, and that program allows you to do your own gear deals. If he rides a 250, he's still going to be under that program, just on a 250 that they're getting from the Star 250 team. So I still see that one pop up a lot. It doesn't 100% guarantee that he's 450 only from here on out, but just to give you an idea of how that stuff works. I know some people immediately are going to ask, well, what's the deal? I've seen rumors of a 10-year deal. Fox on the high end does 3 to 5s on some of their bigger athletes. I would lean towards there, but there's any of these modern day deals. There's so many options and extensions available. And then the price, $1 million is where some of the top 450 athletes are in terms of gear deals. So that number does not surprise me. Hayden's would be trickier to name because there's going to be royalties mixed in with gear. We know like Prado had a royalty on one colorway in the 180 set. Well, Hayden's going to have multiple collection drops and multiple lifestyle drops. There's going to be a lot tied into those deals. So yes, this is a very lucrative relationship for Hayden. And because there's a lot of that involved with gear, he's going to be very much invested in what they're producing, how it looks for him, how they're going to market it, etc. Again, just a really cohesive relationship I think you're going to see grow out of this between these two brands, as they are going to try to make Hayden Deegan and Fox synonymous with each other. Especially that's what you want to do at this level, and really rebrand Hayden as he becomes a 450 guy. So this is what you picture of him. And I think even the launch materials are pretty cool because it's a lot brighter colors than he's been wearing in the past. And I think some of that is their attempt to, really stamp this relationship and give you a different visual of Hayden and Fox right when you see these launch assets. I know this wasn't the biggest surprise to some people. If it was, throw your thoughts in the comment section below. I really am curious what people think on my thoughts on the counterculture, the whole, is this good for the sport? Regardless of how you feel about Hayden, do you agree that no matter what, this is a good move in terms of sport and content, things of that nature? Let's hear it. Throw in the comment section below. As always, thanks for watching here on Vinyl Mix.